Picture this. You're watching a Formula One race, and boom, a $15 million car just slammed into the barriers at 200 miles per hour. The driver walks away, but that machine? It's now a very expensive pile of carbon fiber and dreams. And here's the crazy part. This happens every single weekend. So, why would anyone in their right mind pour hundreds of millions of dollars into a sport where your investment literally crashes and burns on live television? Are these team owners just billionaires with a gambling addiction, or is there actually a genius business model hiding behind all this beautiful chaos? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most expensive, exclusive, and surprisingly profitable businesses in the world. Buckle up. We're about to discover how Formula One teams turn burning rubber into burning cash and somehow make it all work. The Formula One money machine. Let's start with the big picture. Formula One isn't just a sport, it's a $3.65 billion empire. That's billion with a B, people. But here's where it gets interesting. That massive pile of money. It doesn't come from the teams themselves. Nope, this is pure Formula One Group revenue, the commercial powerhouse that runs the entire circus. Before we dive deeper into this financial rabbit hole, smash that like button if you're as shocked as I am by these numbers. And hey, subscribe, because we're about to uncover some seriously mind-blowing business secrets that'll change how you watch every race. But here's what I'm dying to know. If you had $1 billion burning a hole in your pocket, would you start an F1 team or buy something safer like, I don't know, a small country? Drop your answer in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious what you'd choose. The Formula One money machine continued. Now, where does this mountain of cash actually come from? Think of it like a perfectly executed pit stop. There are 4 main components working in perfect harmony. First up, broadcasting rights. This is the heavyweight champion, bringing in 33% of total revenue. That's roughly $1.2 billion, just from TV networks and streaming platforms fighting for the right to show these cars going vroom vroom around the world. Netflix alone probably pays millions, just so we can all get addicted to Drive to Survive drama. Second, race hosting fees. Here's where it gets spicy. Circuit owners and governments pay anywhere from $15 million to $60 million per year, just for the privilege of hosting a Grand Prix. And those fancy new Middle Eastern races, they're throwing around the big bucks, sometimes paying the maximum just to get F1 to show up in their backyard. Third, global sponsorships. You know those logos plastered everywhere? Pirelli, Heineken, Aramco. They're not just pretty decorations. These brands are dropping serious cash to be associated with the F1 glamour, contributing about 20% of that revenue pie. The rest comes from hospitality packages, merchandise, and F1's own streaming service. But wait, plot twist incoming. The great money split. Here's where Formula One shows its generous side. Sort of. They don't keep all that $3.65 billion. In fact, they hand over about 38%. That's roughly $1.2 billion directly to the 10 teams on the grid. But before you think, oh, that's nice, everyone gets $120 million. Hold up. This isn't some socialist paradise where everyone gets an equal slice. Oh no, no, no. The money gets distributed based on 2 things: how well you perform and how long you've been part of the F1 family. It's like a loyalty program, but with more champagne and fewer grocery discounts. Ferrari, the kings of F1 history, they get special historical bonuses just for being Ferrari. Meanwhile, Mercedes might walk away with over $150 million in prize money, while a team struggling at the back might only get $60 to $70 million. And here's the kicker. That sounds like a lot until you realize what it actually costs to run one of these teams. The money pit. What it costs to play. Before 2021, F1 was basically a financial Wild West. Teams could spend whatever they wanted, and boy did they spend. We're talking $400 to $500 million per year. That's $500 million to make cars go fast in circles. Let's break down where all this money disappears. The cars themselves are basically rolling bank vaults. Hundreds of engineers working around the clock, spending millions on research and development just to find a tenth of a second advantage. Every single piece is custom built. Every car is essentially a prototype. It's like building a spaceship, but one that needs to be rebuilt every few weeks. The engines, or power units, as they fancy call them now, cost about $15 million per year. If you're buying from Mercedes or Ferrari, that's $15 million for something that might explode if you look at it wrong. The people, top teams employ 800 to 1,200 people. That's like running a small city, except everyone's job is to make cars go slightly faster. Smaller teams might get by with 300 to 400 people, but that's still a lot of mouths to feed. Logistics. Imagine moving a traveling circus around the world 24 times a year, except instead of elephants, you're shipping $1 million car parts. The shipping costs alone would make Amazon jealous. The drivers. Ah yes, the brave souls willing to risk their lives for our entertainment. Rookie contracts start around $500,000, which sounds reasonable until you realize Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are pulling in $55 to $60 million per year. That's more than some small country's GDP. The spending got so out of control that in 2021, F1 had to slam on the brakes and introduce a budget cap. Teams are now limited to $135 million per year in spending. But wait, there's fine print. Driver salaries, top executive pay, and marketing costs don't count toward the cap, so the big teams still have ways to spend their way to success. David versus Goliath. How small teams survive. So, how do the little guys compete when they're basically bringing a knife to a financial gunfight? Enter teams like Haas, the masters of creative accounting. When they joined F1 in 2016, they basically said, why build everything ourselves when we can just buy it from Ferrari? They purchased as many components as the rules allowed and operated with just 250 employees. That's like running a lemonade stand compared to Mercedes' multinational corporation. Other teams survive through technical partnerships, drivers who bring their own sponsorship money, pay drivers as they're lovingly called, and becoming incredibly efficient with every dollar spent. It's like watching David fight Goliath, except David has a really good accountant. Starting your own team, the billion-dollar dream. Think you want to start your own F1 team? Well, grab your wallet, you're going to need it. First, there's the anti-dilution fee, a fancy way of saying pay the existing teams $200 million so they don't hate you for reducing their prize money. It's like the world's most expensive cover charge. Then you need facilities, factories, design offices, simulators, maybe a wind tunnel if you're feeling fancy. That's another $100 to $200 million right there. Your first car, $100 to $150 million. And that's just to get something that hopefully won't explode on the first lap. Don't forget staffing and operating expenses for at least 2 years before you see any significant prize money. Add it all up, and you're looking at nearly $500 million before your car even rolls onto a racetrack. This explains the drama around the Andretti Cadillac bid. Even with American racing royalty and General Motors backing them, they reportedly had to pay a $450 million anti-dilution fee and remove Mario Andretti himself from the team. It's like the world's most exclusive country club raising membership fees the moment someone new applies. The real money, sponsorships and hospitality. Here's where the magic happens. That prize money we talked about, it barely covers the coffee budget. The real money comes from sponsorships, and we're not just talking about slapping logos on cars. Title sponsorships can reach $50 to $100 million per year. Oracle reportedly pays Red Bull $100 million annually just to have their name associated with the team. That's $100 million to be part of the Red Bull family. Major sponsorships on prime car real estate cost $10 to $30 million per year. Even the smallest stickers are worth around $500,000. Imagine paying $500,000 for a logo the size of a post-it note. But here's the secret sauce. The real value isn't in TV exposure. It's in the Paddock Club, F1's exclusive hospitality area. This is where the magic happens. Companies bring clients, make deals worth hundreds of millions, and network with other major corporations. A single weekend pass costs thousands, but the business deals made over champagne and caviar while watching million-dollar cars race at 200 miles per hour. Those are worth hundreds of millions. For B2B companies like tech firms and financial services, that $50 million sponsorship suddenly looks like a bargain when you're closing deals worth 10 times that amount in the Paddock Club. The profit plot twist. For decades, most F1 teams operated at a loss. They were basically very expensive marketing departments for wealthy owners or car manufacturers. But then something beautiful happened. The budget cap, combined with F1's exploding popularity, thanks Netflix, created a perfect storm for profitability. In 2023, Mercedes F1 reported an $84 million profit. Ferrari's F1 operation is believed to be profitable, and McLaren went from a $9 million loss in 2022 to a $13 million profit in 2023. The budget cap forced teams to become more efficient, while growing audiences meant more sponsorship money. Suddenly, these marketing expenses became actual businesses. The valuation explosion. But wait, there's more. Since Liberty Media bought F1 in 2017 and Netflix made it cool, team valuations have gone absolutely bonkers. The average F1 team is now worth $2.31 billion. Ferrari tops the list at $4.78 billion, with Mercedes close behind at $3.94 billion. Here's the crazy part. Williams Racing was bought for $180 million in 2020. Today, it's valued at $1.24 billion. That's a 600% return in just a few years. Whoever made that investment is probably buying their own island right about now. This explains why existing teams fight so hard against new entries. They've transformed expensive racing projects into multi-billion-dollar franchise assets, and they're not eager to share the pie. The future of F1 money. Looking ahead, F1 is pursuing new revenue streams like F1 TV, gaming partnerships, and social media collaborations to capture younger audiences worldwide. They're also experimenting with promoting their own races, like the Las Vegas Grand Prix, which allows them to capture all event-related revenue, instead of just hosting fees. So, is Formula One actually a good business? Like most business questions, the answer is, it depends. For Liberty Media, it's been phenomenal. They bought F1 for $4.6 billion in 2017, and recent valuations put it at $30 billion. That's not just a home run, that's hitting the ball into orbit. For individual teams, it's more complicated. The biggest teams, with manufacturer backing, can leverage F1 for marketing, technology development, and brand building beyond just direct profits. Smaller independent teams face a tougher road, but with budget caps and growing valuations, even they can potentially build sustainable businesses. So there you have it. Formula One teams make money by turning what looks like organized chaos into a sophisticated entertainment and networking empire. They've transformed from passionate racing projects into global franchises worth billions. Remember to like and subscribe if you want more deep dives into the wild world of sports business. What other seemingly crazy industries should we explore next? Let me know in the comments.